righty, 9 to noon goes to full strength. That's debatable. Always were. It's Paul Allen by your side at FM 100.3 KFAN. Good morning. Nordo produces. And if you had a super special business meeting between like 8 and 9 in the morning, or maybe you were tied up with the kids, closing week of school or something like that, or maybe the non-distraction related facets of your lives kept you away from social media or your favorite radio station, FM 100.3, KFAN. A, welcome back. But B, you missed a doozy. You missed a whopper. He's JJ, and he just got paid, mad producer.
Welcome back, JJ.
37 seconds to go in the first half. 1st and 10 Vikings back to the 26. Mullen shotgun, 3 receivers right, 1 left. Hawkinson goes in motion. Lions blitz. It's all picked up. Make him pay, Nick. Come on. He rolls out to the right. Throws to the end zone. Caught. There you go. Touchdown. He's JJ. And how we've missed that gritty. It's 17-13 Lions.
Courtesy of Tom Pelissero, also Ian Rappaport, Rap Sheet via NFL Network. If you did indeed miss it, the Minnesota Vikings and superstar wideout Justin Jefferson have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, including $110 million in guarantees. He's still only 24 years old. Jefferson is now the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So over the last couple of weeks, we're dealing with Malik Neighbors / trade-up rumor terrorism. Will the deal ever get done? Well, it was almost done before the start of the 2023. What's going on?
At least they say.
At least they say.
At least they say the Malik Neighbors situation was on the table.
And so now fast forward to today. We don't have to wait till the first day of training camp. We don't have to wait until the last day of training camp. We're not fiddling around with fifth-year option numbers and what a franchise tag looks like for Justin Jefferson. All those catches, all those yards, all those touchdowns, all those gritties is locked in. And for this extension, it will be, PA, through the 2028 season. Now, Rap Sheet and Pelissero, they announced it. Schefter's got a lot of intel out there, so feel free to go read more about it. But how about Justin Jefferson, courtesy of his social media account, telling us himself? JJ announced it. It's about 1 minute, 18 seconds. Let's listen to Justin Jefferson.
The time has finally come. The deal I've been waiting for since I was a little kid. Being doubted my whole career, not being highly recruited, not being the first receiver off the draft board. This whole journey wasn't easy for me. First off, I want to thank the man above. Without God, wouldn't be possible at all.
Amen.
To be given a gift to play football at the highest level. It's a blessing. It's an honor. My mom and dad, thank you. This is a journey for all of us. And y'all still with us every step of the way. To my brothers, Ricky and Jordan, y'all are everything. Y'all made me who I am today. This is a new step in our journey, a new step in life. Always dreamt of this moment, and to now share it with all of y'all, a dream that we all had. It's a blessing. Kevin O'Connell, Quezzy, the Wilfs, I appreciate y'all for giving me this opportunity. Ben, my agent, thank you for getting this deal done. Last but not least, thank you to the fans. Y'all set the tone, y'all set the mood, y'all set the energy, and I'm definitely excited to set that energy for 5 more years. Thank you, all of the ones that supported me throughout the whole way. This is the start of it, but we ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet.
Oh my gosh.
We ain't done yet. What's that mean?
Above average at that.
What's
Just
that mean?
getting started, PA.
What's that mean? We ain't done yet. Okay. Shame on those of you, if indeed you do exist, who doubted Justin Jefferson. I mean, full ride to LSU, first round pick, greatest wide receiver draft in the history of the NFL, 2020. Okay. Judy, Ruggs, and Brandon Ayuk. Oh, excuse me. Ayuk is on fire. But it was Jalen Reagor. All right, 3-2. Ruggs, Judy, Jalen Reagor. definitely should not have been selected ahead of Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb shouldn't have been selected ahead of Justin Jefferson, but that's more of a conversation where you actually could fill part of a segment going back and forth about it. But Justin was the cream of the crop in the greatest wide receiver draft in the history of the National Football League. So shame on those doubting in the first place, specifically somebody as gifted as Justin Jefferson. And he's en route to becoming the greatest wide receiver in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. And that would entail passing the likes of Randy Moss and Chris Carter. And the only way to get to said accolades involves several things. One, him being here. So with the new deal, he's going to be here longer. Secondly, an elongated career like Chris Carter had with the Minnesota Vikings to continue to crack immortality-like records. And thirdly, with we've only just begun, copyright Karen Carpenter, or there's so much more to be done, copyright Justin Jefferson, then bringing a Super Bowl with all that cachet and all that cash as the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League, which means he surpassed Nick Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers, who I believe gets $34 million a year on average.
Yes.
Then bringing a Super Bowl to the state of Minnesota. He's part of it. It's a team game. It's 11 on 11. And A has to get to B, which has to get to C, which has to get to D. But eventually we get to J, which is Jefferson. And as potentially the best overall receiver in the National Football League, he's a big part of helping the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl for the first time in the history of the franchise. So 9 to noon has to assume, we have to postulate when he says we ain't done. Hopefully that's what he means, right?
I'm so happy that this part of the story is done, but being that we have just begun, absolutely. That's the key with JJ since minute one. Big smiles, big plays on the field. But you can tell with JJ, there's a simplicity to it. And the audio that I just played for you, we don't get to partake in that joy of getting the record-setting, life-changing money, an entire family potentially impacted by this moment.
Can't say that when I was growing up, I ever dreamed of like getting a grandiose deal. Like he's like, I've dreamt of this all my life, something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I usually run away from contract negotiations before I dream about them. I don't know about you, but that's our lot in life, man.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to read too deeply into the words or into the way that he laid everything out. I think as most kids, we dreamed of bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 2 on, need a home run to win it.
Yep.
The game-winning goal, the title-winning touchdown, etc. But we don't get to partake in that joy that you heard in the video, but we win by keeping one of the most electric players in the NFL on the field. And for us, again, thinking about all the conversations we've had, all the text messages that we've received being, hey, what's going on with JJ? What's up with JJ? Does he want to be traded? Are things negative in the house right now? What's going on with number 18? Mm-hmm. Everybody can take a collective deep breath and just go, this is done. Now it truly can begin and start talking about McCarthy to Jets. What is that going to look like? Darnold to Jefferson, week 1. What is that going to look like? How does this team get better in 2024? I heard during the power trip, I played it on Friday, PA, some Jordan Addison audio. Now we can, and what he's working on into year 2. Now, truly, as Vikings conversations persist, as mandatory minicamp gets underway this week, we can actually start putting those pieces together. And we were already confident about it, but putting JJ into that mix, not contract mysteriousness, we can push that away and just start talking about Vikings football. This is awesome. And
minicamp is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. 9 to noon, we'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday. So tomorrow and Wednesday at the Vikings facility, hopefully an opportunity to advance this with the likes of a general manager or coaches or maybe even Justin Jefferson. Who knows? But once again, if you were out of the loop, somewhere over the next hour or last hour and change, the Minnesota Vikings and Justin Jefferson have come together on a grandiose deal, much to the chagrin of those around the league who have to check him. But to no surprise, with 9 to noon, this is something even with the Wolves giving us that month and a half out of nowhere of that wonderful storyline in the Western Conference Finals.
Amazing run.
I mean, even through all of that, speaking for you, speaking for me, speaking for 9 to noon, this was like never on our minds. I mean, personally speaking, I always knew it would take place. I didn't know when. I didn't care when. But, hey, I guess there were some that were concerned about it. So now there's no more reason to be concerned.
Yeah, until the ink is dry, there's always a level of unknown. It wasn't something that was on the front of my mind, but still, I'm excited to get things like this done. As a Vikings fan, I'm not interested in talking about money deals and contracts and all of that. I want to talk about things that we know, things that we can look at, how the team wins. And the team wins and has a chance to win with JJ on this team. It has nothing to do with how much money he's making. We just need number 18 to be happy. That Wolves run providing the perfect, I mean, it was like a storybook, kind of nothing else mattered for almost the totality of the month. I still miss it as well.
I miss it.
And I miss it because it came to an absolute thud of a halt. Game 5 in front of the home crowd. But Justin Jefferson, man, such a good dude. And he, in a very short period of time, has, I think, materially changed this franchise for the better.
Yeah.
And the ability to keep him in the stable, and as we're trying to raise a kid from Michigan as the next potential Vikings QB, that having that asset, not only as a player but as a guy, is tremendous. So I'm just glad there's finality to it. I think that's the key.
And I guess if what's next is part of the program, if like you're forward thinking with like, all right, well, what's next to take love, which is good, and make it stronger with Justin Jefferson re-signed, I guess Christian Darrisaw would be next on the worryometer. On the worryometer.
I don't worry about that. Do you?
No, I didn't worry about the Jefferson deal. You don't. I mean, there needs to be credit given for how secretive so many people kept the negotiations with Justin Jefferson, and how you got a lot of leaks, but none of them are right.
Correct.
So therefore, now you got people who want to be at the forefront. They want to be first with things. So they may get like if it's a Thanksgiving Day meal, all right, the Jefferson deal is the turkey.
Okay.
But then on the side, you have the ancillary items. Now, those would include what happens if you don't sign him? Would he really have the stomach to sit out a season if you eyeballed him and said, we're going to give you the franchise tag after the season? But then when the gizzard, the worst part of a Thanksgiving meal pops up, for some it would be the cranberry sauce. I don't know what it would be.
I'm out on cranberry sauce, so that's it for me.
There we go. When that thing with Malik Neighbors popped up, so I'm like looking at it going, all right, so let me get this straight. So the Vikings might have traded for Malik Neighbors, but didn't have a Justin Jefferson deal in place to trade him.
That's where I let the tryptophan take over, and I'm going to take a nap. Then.
People are just trying a little too hard with this to like get people to pay attention to them or something.
Wake me up when it's time for pie.
Wake me up when it's time to go, as in him going, gone, which never was going to happen. I mean, 9 to noon tried to lay that out as delicately and as respectfully as we could, in that he's never going to leave.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how he stays. Well, now we know that he's going to stay, so get those game-worn 18s ready for the game at the Giants where you beat Danny Dimes and you come home, you beat C.J. Stroud, and he's making so much money. Maybe Justin just got so much money, maybe it will be mandated he plays at least a half in every preseason game.
I always love that.
You got to earn that money, man.
The one thing that did pop into my head over the last month or so was the fact that all these other receivers were getting deals. So I'm kind of playing that game a little bit. Like Waddle just got, 70 or maybe even low 80s guaranteed.
Like producers here at the Fan. Hockey gets a number. Well, then JG, Tenabe, and Nordo.
Right.
Well, they got to get a number bigger than Hawk's number.
Well,
and it's a never-ending vicious cycle between you fools.
Hawk gets the JJ number, and I get the Ben Skowronek number.
No, you don't.
So
Thayer Thomas.
So you gotta know your role in that respect, but looking at all those deals, and so it's kind of the idea of resetting the market when you get a contract. So Vikings haven't gotten this deal done with JJ. Ooh, look what A.J. Brown just got in an extension. I mentioned Jalen Waddle, all of these things, and now CeeDee Lamb. You mentioned him, CeeDee Lamb. For you might say JJ's a better receiver than CeeDee Lamb. Well, they use CeeDee Lamb like we use JJ, and that's going to be a fat ticket. So you're thinking, well, maybe that's why this is pushing out, is because they're waiting. Well, I heard Pelissero with the power trip, and I think he laid it out perfectly. He's like, no, they weren't competing with Tyreek Hill money. They were competing with Nick Bosa money.
Yeah.
And so the idea of watching these receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, nice start to his career, really clicks with Jared Goff, and a tremendous find for the kiddies in Detroit. He gets $30 million guaranteed a season. JJ's camp, and even the Vikings knew for a minute, Amon-Ra can sign that deal anytime. That's not going to impact where we're going with this thing, which was always to find himself in the stratosphere of the highest paid non-quarterback. Speaking of week one, I think JJ makes more money than Daniel Jones now. So
at the combine, I think it was the combine, when the general manager, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, said, we believe he's the best non-quarterback in the National Football League. I wonder if those controlling the purse strings were like, mother!
Oh my gosh.
Stop going to play into it!
Stop giving away our leverage. You can't say that and then not make him the highest paid non-QB in the NFL. So, but those were things that I was thinking about is, Waddle's getting a ton of cash. How are they going to pay both those guys and figure out how to give Tua some money on the side?
Cousins got 100 promised, JJ 110. Hey, I'm sorry. Go.
No, absolutely. And I like
if we're going to play the petty, he got this, I get this, you got this, I got to go here. Well, then I can play the petty game too.
Well, I think that's how they play it, though. PA.
No,
it's 100% of this. It's a statement almost to your status within the league, and frankly, I mean, in our lives as well, we attach value. And that value is in the form of payment of some sort, salary, benefits, all of those things. We attach value. We ask for value associated with our work.
Fair.
For a guy that has proven to be, specifically over the last 2 seasons in Kevin O'Connell's offense, he has been the most important cog, save for, obviously, Kirk getting him the ball. He is the biggest moneymaker on this team. He should probably get a market-setting deal. And congratulations to JJ.
Especially those games he missed last year where we lost every one.
I always love that one.
Oh, wait a second. We won every one.
I always love that one.
Anyway, so that, all right. 9 to noon is at Twin Cities Orthopedic Performance Center tomorrow and Wednesday. 9 to noon on campus. Mini camp week. And that means Justin Jefferson will be at mandatory minicamp. He skipped either all or part of organized team activities last year, but was there for mandatory minicamp. And yours truly, the cartoon character, gets back into the Minnesota Vikings and football groove with the Timberwolves dead. And you know what? We'll get over to TCOPC tomorrow and Wednesday, and hopefully the kids will stream the bleep out of it. Maybe we'll be live on Instagram talking about Minnesota Vikings football and the best receiver in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson. All right, 3-2. So we'll be happy to be there, hoping to run down some luminaries, looking forward to watching some 11-on-11, and Darnold, relatively high speed versus the Flores defense. That'll be fun. Then the shutdown, which is longer than ever this year for the Minnesota Vikings. They got 3 days of minicamp, and it generally is 2. Then they're gone until training camp and like 7 weeks of nonstop chill. But 7 weeks of nonstop chill where obviously they got to get the minds and the bodies ready for training camp. But during the nearly 2 months of non-Minnesota Vikings on the field activities, like Nordo said earlier, we don't have to ponder this Justin Jefferson made-up angst. He's back in the mix. He's one of us. You doubted him. Now he's here.
What an abyss talker that would be.
No.
I'd
take days off before I talk about that. I ain't kidding you.
Will he be back?
What do you talk about?
It's the countdown to camp.
What do you
PA.
talk about? I mean, it's either you get, okay, well, let's just, hey, talkbacks are available. Free iHeartRadio app. Let's just lay it out like this, all right? And see where your minds and your hearts go. Justin Jefferson has been re-signed by the Minnesota Vikings, meaning unless something goes dramatically amiss, he'll be a Minnesota Viking until 2028. He received requisite money that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. So it's $35 a year on average for him, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers, he gets $34. So beat him on the field on Monday Night Football. Beat him with the pocketbook and the checkbook when you're signing JJ. All right, 3-2. So, what does this mean to you? I mean, like, were people losing sleep, worried Justin Jefferson wouldn't be part of the team? Did you happen to purchase game-worn Malik Neighbors jerseys, thinking that maybe that flim-flam would like come full circle and maybe we'd get a second chance to a first chance that never really existed? And for Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, and Antoine, everybody growing up playing sports, loving the likes of Justin Jefferson, dust off those game-worn 18s, and I'll see you at MetLife Stadium. He's JJ. Darnold fires deep left side, caught by Jefferson, touchdown. That's all I got. I mean, JJ's back in the mix. I never thought he wouldn't be in the mix. I never thought it would come to, does he have the stomach to sit out and not take the franchise tag? I didn't know when. Nobody knew when. Everybody did a great job in-house and with the Jefferson contingent of keeping all the particulars quiet. I mean, when you got .com Tom Pelissero, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, when you have individuals like that, Jeremy Fowler, YA, Ben Gessling, Mark Craig, when you have constituents like that on the story, I mean, you got to keep your P's and Q's right, man. You got to keep everything quiet or something of legitimacy may leak, like trading for Malik Neighbors, even though you don't have a trade partner for Justin Jefferson.
I always love that one.
But it's over. How excited are we?
I am excited. Again, I don't want to underplay. I know that we were always confident he was going to be here, PA. Mm-hmm. But I can't underplay the lack of finality there for Vikings fans. And I'm totally with you. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about the idle hands idea of in lieu of news, we can get really creative with rumors. We can get really creative with alternative routes. At one point prior to the draft and prior to free agency conversations about what could you get in the draft for Justin Jefferson if you were going to move on from him because of that big dollar, because of the fact that it wasn't signed. So I can't underplay the lack of finality to it, but now it's here. But and with that and now that it's here, now we again just take a deep breath and let's move on to what Darnold looks like in this offense. I have some audio I'll play during Vikes Bites. Shaq Griffin, potentially new comedian on this team, but figuring out how to run the ball more effectively. Reisner potentially competing for a left guard spot with Blake Brandel.
Oh, yeah.
Or is Brandel competing with Ed Ingram for a right guard spot? How all of those things work. And you're right. For 7 weeks, there's no chance we were going to spend maybe even half of one segment sweating the idea of this deal not being done if it hadn't been signed today. But in the end, I like the finality. I like getting back to just talking about now.
Back to football.
Everything that we have and the actual things that impact wins and losses One of the good ones happens to now be back in the stable for another 4 years. Loving that.
Yeah.
But this team and how they get better off the 7-10 and all of that, now that gets to dominate the conversation. So when we're at TCO tomorrow, PA, it's not, hey, is Justin Jefferson participating? Like, is he in town? Anybody seen him?
Yeah.
You know, we don't have Thomason anymore, so no one's at the airport terminal checking the arrival times. Is he around? We don't get to talk. Now we get to talk about, are you kidding me with this Dallas Turner cat? Are you serious how athletic this kid looks? Did we actually get deeper in pass rush talent with the moves we make despite not having Danielle Hunter? We get to have awesome looks at a team without trying to worry about any of the contract junk.
9 to noon is in the air, and the Minnesota Vikings and Justin Jefferson have come together on a contract extension. As it's written here at ProFootballTalk.com, blow the horn, Vikings. After months of back and forth, on and off negotiations, the Vikings and receiver Justin Jefferson have a deal. For multiple reports, 4-year extension, $35 million per year in new money, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Coupled with his 2024 compensation of $19.7 million, it's a 5-year, $159 million deal that pays $31.94 million per year from signing. And the deal reportedly includes $110 million in total guarantees, with $88 million of it fully guaranteed at signing. But that's before taxes. Congratulations, JJ. Congratulations, Vikings. And congratulations, Jefferson and Minnesota Vikings fans. Courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. Joe Smith from The Athletic and TheAthletic.com is going to join at 10 o'clock. Also, a dear friend of mine named Eric Grams will be in studio at 11. This is going to be a sad story, but it's going to be a story of resiliency and of closure. That'll take place at 11. And around the corner, young Max Fuller was set to join 9 to noon to chat about some things. He'll still stop by, but we'll change the plan a little bit with Nordo producing and yours truly, Paul Allen. It ain't come. Thank you, TimberTech and TimberTech.com. You're listening to 9 to noon.